True strengths.
Mm-hmm.
Sarah, how are we doing this week?
Fantastic. Yeah, major storms coming through here in North Carolina, which I enjoy. I like the reset button, if you will. Clean it all out, make room for more. How's it going over there in Texas?
We're seeing the same thing, but you know what I love about it is it brings the temperature down. So I'm always a big fan of a little bit of rain here and there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah, I forgot about the temperature part because the mugginess is still here. So
yeah, it does bring the mugginess too, but you know, it's a give and take. You know how that is.
This is true. It is a balance with all things. So.
Yeah. So today we are talking about input.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, that also means I need to give you the definition of input. And it's people who are especially talented in the input theme have a craving to know more. Often they like to collect and archive all kinds of information.
It's true. It's true. Yeah. And I came up with a piggy bank. Just kind of stores it, tucks it away for a rainy day or a sunny day, whenever it applies.
When somebody needs it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Somebody needs the information.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we are both pretty low.
Second to last for me, 33 over here.
Yeah, and I'm 27, so it's in the nether regions for both of us.
Yes.
Yeah. However, I find that it seems I've got a lot of clients that have input. So I listen and hear about this strength pretty regularly. How about you?
Yeah, former colleagues and now some current colleagues, clients that, building up the base. So it's going to be interesting to see how that really shows itself. There's been some former clients, so no current, but some former clients, and it's been cool to put those pieces together to see how that shows up for them. And as all of our strengths, how they really bring the gifts of who they are through those themes into the input theme that they're. I would say I actually, in preparation for today, was thinking in such an information overload time of the world that we live in right now, that input, all of our strengths are very valuable, not saying anything about anybody else's or any other strength, but that input really is very valuable in this day and age because it's almost like you have a natural filter to apply what actually is applicable to the current conversation, to the current need, and filter through all of, just so much information in the world. So,
right. Yeah. And I'll tell you, with it being low for me, I do find myself reaching out to my pals and my colleagues that are high in input to kind of get out there and dig around in the muck and bring back the important stuff to me.
Yeah. And that there's strategic, this is a strategic thinking domain strength. So in terms of that big picture, able to have all of those, all that information and really plug and play it's almost like Legos, intellectual Legos,
But what's interesting is not only are they pulling in the information, they're actually thinking about it, right? And learning more, and where they can kind of filter it down for me. As you know, we've talked about this often. I have a need for speed. I don't really like the research part, and to have somebody out there that can do that for me is, I love it. And especially now we're talking about work. Those are the people that are out there, doing the research and coming and bringing it back in and giving it to others in bite-sized pieces and what they need.
Yes.
So I love having those type of people on my team.
Yeah, game changers for sure.
Absolutely. So when you're thinking about work, people that are high in input, what types of jobs do you see them in?
Honestly, where I've seen it show up are former colleagues who just apply resources to whatever we're talking about. It feels like it's left field, but they're bringing it and applying it instantly. And I could see that really working and being extremely useful across industries. So if you're that person who just loves podcasts and the news, highlights and whatever else, soak up whatever you're naturally drawn to, and offer up. I would say that's the piece that is up to the person with the input theme high. continue to make those relationships, because I thought that was also, that's another interesting piece of this, is not only is it the collecting of information, it's the collecting of the relationships. So continue to make those connections and offer up those little nuggets when they apply to that conversation. Again, I think that's across industry, which is really, really something,
Yeah, and I have heard, definitely that people high in input, that is one of the ways that they build relationships, is collecting that data and sharing it, when it's appropriate, et cetera. So that is pretty cool that, you've got a strategic thinking skill that can also serve as a relationship building skill.
Yeah, talk about networking. Oh my goodness, you are the linchpin for many that input thing high. And how about for you?
So I kind of look at this as research, would be a place that I definitely see, people that are going out and trying to find the facts and gather those. But I don't know that it's always just research for research's sake. It's not just let me go out and gather data and present it to you, as far as like facts and figures. But I also see it like finding vendors, and digging in deep and trying to do as much research on a vendor situation. So that would really apply to any jobs.
Yeah. I was thinking, go ahead. Sorry.
No, you're good. Yeah.
I was just thinking with the construction teams that I've worked on in the past, thinking through, those construction, the resources, especially lumber right now, is through the roof, understandably, with all the world pandemic and everything else. So just thinking through those teammates on the construction teams who have input them high, they're the ones who find energy. Again, this is energizing your career through strengths, that they find energy from doing that research. So, definitely offer up those opportunities. Identify those people on your team who actually enjoy those opportunities, because they actually get energy from them.
Right. And let's talk about the flip side of that. We talked earlier about just recently with one of my consulting partners, I had to go out and find a fulfillment center.
Great.
And for me, the finding the different ones was not the fun part. The fun part for me was going in and having the communication with the partners and seeing what was a good fit as far as the people were concerned. So, that would be a great place for me to have reached out to somebody and said, hey, you do this part, let me do this other part. And we would have both been really excited about it. So yeah, it's really understanding where that energy comes from and the parts that you really, truly love. And I love this project, by the way. It was that one part that not in my wheelhouse.
Yeah, and I love that it models a beautiful opportunity for those powerful partnerships that we talk about. That would have been an awesome opportunity to tap into that powerful partnership. So I wanted to offer up that context for friends out there who might be scratching their head like, what do they mean by powerful partnership? I love that you offered a wonderful example.
Yeah. So we have just about a minute left. So we're really thinking about seeking the types of experiences in work. I look at it as I work with a guy that is a expert in the SAT and ACT testing, right? And he helps students through that process. But what I see, for him is he gets to be the expert. And I think if you can seek roles where they're looking for somebody to be the expert in a certain thing, that's where you can raise your hand, because you can really dig in and, do the research. How about you?
Yeah, as I think about my former colleagues, it's no surprise that my friends, my former colleagues and friends who are history teachers, and, that's their background. Of course, it seems to me almost a no-brainer. Of course, their input theme highlights so much information and they're able to apply it in the moment. So that's just one of many examples of how you can channel this energy, for sure.
Great. And as you know, the reason why we do this is we want to give you the option to choose the types of things that energize you in your work so that you can love your work more. And join us next week again. And, we look forward to sharing another strength.
Absolutely. We'll see you next week, my friends.